Hey guys, it's Elizabeth Potts Weinstein, and now we are here on day 8 of 10 Days to Business Boundaries. And now I want to talk about you. Because one of the big issues about boundaries is the most likely person to violate your boundaries is actually you. Well, I actually have no statistics about that, but that's just kind of what I see and my experience with myself. The thing is, we teach people how to treat us. And most of the time, when there are boundary issues happening, we're the ones who are the biggest violators. We're violating our own boundaries that we have tried to set in our own lives. Starting with our self-care a lot of times, and it goes out from there. And for a lot of us, what happens is that we start out with violating our own self-care boundaries, and instead of approaching those violations from a place of partnership with ourselves, we approach it from a place of this antagonistic punishment, guilt festival, and either completely give up on it or, hurt ourselves or punish ourselves somehow, and it just completely disintegrates. And of course, that's how other people treat us too. So what I recommend is if you're having boundary problems, a lot of times the best place to start is with the boundaries you set for yourselves. Set for yourself. So if you have a boundary about dealing with the structure you have in your day, and one of the structures you have in your day is you're going to go to bed every night at 10 p.m., which is my bedtime, by the way. The bedtime I worked into my schedule for myself, which took a while, by the way. And you've done that so you can get enough sleep, because you realize, and of course I'm talking about myself, how important sleep is in you being the person that you want to be. So you can be your best self in your life, in the work that you do for your clients, in being a parent, and being a friend, and being a lover, and being the best person you can be for yourself, everything, right? So you want to be able to go to bed at 10 p.m. so you can do that, because that's going to work. For me, I'm a morning person. I can't sleep in, so going to bed early is the way for me to do it. Well, if I had been going to bed at midnight, it'd be very hard to go straight from midnight to 10 p.m. I could say, okay, I'm going to go to bed tonight at 10 p.m. And then I could easily see, and this was what happened, that night number one, well, maybe not number one, I could go to bed at 10 p.m., right? Because you know how the first night you're like really gung-ho, like, you go to bed at 10 p.m., go to bed at 10 p.m. Then night number two, you go to bed at 11:57 or something, right? And you totally fail on the whole 10 p.m. thing. It just doesn't happen, and you're really mad at yourself, and you punish yourself, and all this stuff. Instead of approaching it from that antagonistic, you're a terrible person, how you failed perspective, which you could totally do, right? When you fill out your weekly spreadsheet of how you failed and how disappointed and frustrated and you are with yourself. You approach it from a place of partnership. Let's look at this boundary that you set yourself, that you created for yourself, of going to bed at 10 p.m., at this structure you created for yourself. Is that actually going to work? Maybe it's not. Maybe 10 p.m. is not realistic yet. Maybe 11:30 is realistic. Or maybe 15 minutes earlier each week for the period of however many weeks that would be if you actually subtracted that out, whatever, I don't know. So, 6 weeks or 8 weeks, or I don't know, someone do that math for me. Maybe that would be a realistic goal. Structuring out that boundary. Or maybe 10 p.m. is totally realistic if you designed an entire system around that. This is how my life works, is for me to be able to go to bed at 10 p.m., I need an entire system designed to make that succeed. So 10 p.m. means a whole set of things have to happen starting at 5 p.m. It means that at 5 p.m. I eat dinner. It means certain, email shutting off at certain times. It means playing with my kid at certain times. It means certain times for no more talking on the phone. Certain times for all kinds of things have to stop. No more tidying the house. No more doing the dishes. Certain time my kids go to bed. Certain times I start getting ready for bed. All these things have to happen. So going to bed at 10 p.m. happens. Does it happen every night? No. Does it happen most nights? Not lately. Lately, actually, 10:30 has been more like what's happening. And that's actually something that I've been evaluating recently. But the idea is that when you're evaluating the boundaries that you've set for yourself and how you're violating your own boundary, you need to evaluate it based on it from a place of partnership, from a place of love for yourself. And look at the boundary itself and say, is this a boundary that's realistic? That's actually going to work? And then also, if it is a boundary that we're committed to, both me and myself, committed to, from a place of partnership with myself, then how can we make this work? And by approaching it from a place of partnership with yourself, you're going to learn how to be a great partner with yourself, and you're going to be able to create great partnerships with other people. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. See you next time.